Hello, everyone. Welcome to Facts Pro, where it's all about facts, financial, accounting, and tax strategies. Today, I want to answer a question about my last post about the New York inflation refund check. Want to know what it's all about. Do we need to apply for it? And what should we expect? So I put a post on this, and I'm here to answer some of the frequently asked questions as per the instructions we received from New York State. So this is mainly for New York State residents. All right, so let's dive in. I'm gonna share my screen. And as you know, I always like to start with a joke. So let's start. So this joke says, take my advice, stop thinking that it's your money. It really goes to the tax department. All right, so let's just start. The New York Inflation Refunded check. This was approved in the 2025-2026 New York State budget. It provides for the state's first ever inflation refund check. And this is one-time payment, and it provides relief to New Yorkers who have paid increased sales tax due to inflation. So from the name, you can see that it's related to inflation because of the increased prices. People have been paying a lot of sales tax, so they put in their budget to refund some of these payments. All right. If you qualify for a payment, you don't need to do anything. New York will automatically send you a check. So you don't need to worry about it. You only need to worry about one thing we'll talk about now. Checks will start to be mailed over a period of several weeks beginning in mid-October of 2025, but it may not be in mid-October. They will start this process in mid-October. All right. So, am I eligible? Who would receive a check? Because it's not everyone that's going to receive a check. So, you're eligible for a refunded check if for tax year 2023. So, if for tax year 2023, you filed a form IT 201, New York State resident income tax return. If you were a part-year resident or if you were a non-year resident in 2023, you wouldn't qualify. So this is, and guess why it's 2023? Because that's the year that everyone has already filed or supposedly has filed. 2024, some people are on extension. So they're using 2023 criteria to send you those checks. All right, so if for tax year 2023, you filed a New York State resident income tax return, if you reported income within the qualifying thresholds we'll talk about, and when you were not claimed as a dependent on another taxpayer return on 2023 tax return. All right, so that's the eligibility requirements. How much of a refund will I receive? So, well, that would depend on your income and your filing status for the 2023 tax year. And that's the schedule that was provided by New York State. They're all similar. Maybe this is a little different, but single, married filing separately, head of household, they're all about the same. If you had $75,000 or less, you would get $200 check. If you got more than 75, but not more than 150, you get $150. And if it's more than 150, guess what? You don't get anything. For married filing jointly, it's double these amounts. So 150 or less, you get $400. If it's more than 150, but not more than 300K, you get $300. So the minimum is 150, the maximum is $400. Qualified surviving spouse is the same as married filing jointly. And this is like for widowers, and it's the same thing. 150 or less, you get 400. More than 150, but no more than 300, you get $300. All right. So the amount of the refunded check would really depend on how much is your income and what is your filing status. All right. When will I get my check? So as we said, it will begin mid-October of 2025. And since there is like over 8 million New Yorkers will receive refunds, this is a large volume of checks. So it will be mailed over a multiple week period. So you may receive your check sooner or later than your neighbors. So don't panic. Mailings are not based on zip codes or regions. So you just have to wait. And if you call New York State customer service, they're not going to help you because they can't provide a specific delivery schedule and they wouldn't know or they wouldn't have additional information on the status of your check. And unfortunately, there is really no way for you to check the status. You just need to wait and to know when to start waiting from mid-October. So don't expect anything now. And from mid-October, you should be expecting to be coming in the mail. All right. Watch your mailbox for a check that look like this. This is how it's gonna look like. All right. It would have your name, address here, and it would say New York State Department of Taxation, Income Tax Department. All right. Some questions related to, okay, will this be taxable? So the state said that it's not taxable. New York State is not going to tax this money, but the federal is still determining whether these payments will be treated as taxes at the federal level. So we'll have to find out later on what the IRS would say about that. Some of the commonly asked questions, do I need to apply? I kind of answered this already. No, you don't need to do anything. This will be automatically sent to you if you meet the eligibility criteria based on your 2023 tax return. The thing that you need to worry about is the mailing address. So the address associated with your most recent filed tax return, this is the address where this check will be mailed to. So if you filed your 2024 tax return and you used an address on that one, this is where the inflation refund check will be mailed. All right, so you gotta, if you still live in this address, then good, fine. But if you moved, then you can still update your address with the department, but this will have to be using your individual online service account. So if you don't have an online service account, you need to create one. You need to go to newyorkstate.gov and open an online service account and update your address, your mailing address there so that you can receive the refunded check on the new address. All right, that's the main thing that you need to worry about if you change addresses. Another question said, okay, I had my income tax refund automatically deposited in my bank account. So will the refunded check be automatically deposited? And the answer is no. The New York State is not going to directly deposit any tax refunds. They will have to receive it as a check in the mail. Another question about people who did not file New York State resident income tax return. Will you receive a check? And the answer is no. The department will determine the eligibility based on the income reported on your income tax return for tax year 2023. And that's it. I think, yeah, one more question. I was a part-year resident with New York State in 2023. Will I receive a refunded check? And you can guess the answer. It's a no. You must have been a full year New York State resident to receive the inflation refund check. All right, so last question. My 2023 tax refund was applied to an outstanding debt. So if somebody had an outstanding debt and they didn't really get their tax refund from New York State, asking, will my inflation refund be applied to an outstanding debt? And the answer is no. This has nothing to do with your income tax. The amount of your inflation refund will not be applied to any outstanding debt. You will still receive your check. All right, so hopefully you found this helpful. If you have any question about your situation, you're still not sure if you'll receive this check or not, please reach out and let me know if you have any questions. All right, thank you so much and have a great day.